got a lot to talk about today. Let's start in the high school realm. Boardman boys and girls sweeping the AAC championship last night. Talk a little bit about this program, what makes them both so good, some players that really stuck out in that AAC championship, and what kind of big accomplishment this is for both the teams.
Well, I'll tell you what makes both of the teams at Boardman so good is number one, they play at Mill Creek, so I'm a little biased on that. But no, number
There you
two,
go.
they're coached by some great people. Coach Chrisman for the girls team and Coach Treleski for the boys team, really dedicated to the program. And they're two coaches, which if you had to choose someone to coach your program, they're in it for the right reason. They work hard with the kids. They're here beyond the hours of practice, making sure that their players, are practicing well, are playing well, are engaged in the game. And like I said, they're here. If any player has an issue or a problem, they're always there. They're here, late on weekends when a player wants to come out. Just doing the things that you need to do to be successful. And I think any time that you go play your conference championship, especially at a place like Youngstown Country Club, it's a tough venue to play. No matter if you're in high school or you're a collegiate athlete or so on down the line. It's got very deep rough. It's got lightning fast greens, puts a premium on short game. And I think, the teams that certainly play well there have to have all those attributes. They have to hit as many fairways as possible because it's tough to advance the ball out of the rough at Youngstown because it is so deep and it is so lush. Um, Give yourself the opportunity to hit some greens. If you miss some greens, you have to have the tools in the bag that are necessary to get the golf ball up and down. And I think both of the teams, both at Boardman, boys and girls, spend a lot of time on our chipping green and our chipping area, whether it's working out of the bunker, whether it's working on chip shots, high flop shots, low running shots, pitch and runs. They do that extremely well, and they're coached very, very well from that aspect. So to have a good short game is vital to score well there, and it's one of the reasons why both of those teams won. The girls, I believe, won back to back. The boys have had a long history of winning that conference over there. I'm not sure if they went back to back or not, but they've won it. The 7 years that I've been here, probably all but maybe 1 year. So I mean, the history of them playing well there and in 18-hole formats, they certainly putt well. To shoot the numbers of the Boardman boys and the girls team shot, you had the medalist. Not only did you win it from a team aspect with the Boardman boys, but you had the medalist Ryan Sam, who shoots 72, which is a phenomenal score in the conditions that they had to play in. It was very hot yesterday as well. So to pull off those kind of scores and to shoot those kind of numbers are extremely well. And on the girls' side, Madison Murphy shoots 82. So I mean that's very solid. And I think it really bodes well for when these teams go to sectionals and they go play districts. And I think for Boardman, the boys team, I think it really started last week with a big win over Canfield, who's, has had a heck of a season in high school golf. And I think is one of the better teams in our area. And to be able to beat them up in a match here at Mill Creek and then, have the opportunity to play well and really get some positive momentum going into the conference championship really allowed them to play well. But I think, when we talk about both of these teams at Boardman, you got to talk how well they're coached. Their players get it. The coaches are heavily involved and they do the time that's necessary to make their team better week in and week out. And I've watched this with Brian Treleski, especially with the boys team. He hadn't had the best talent, after that team that graduated a couple of years ago that went to state 3 or 4 times in a row, and most of their kids are playing for the Youngstown State men's team right now. To be able to build and mold a group of freshmen that are now juniors and seniors and doing special things on the golf course, I think is phenomenal. Same thing with the girls program with Coach Crispin, what she's been able to do. And, getting players that graduated a lot and, getting a new cast of characters in there to be able to play and participate at a high level, I think is important. And I think that's one of the reasons why they've had the success that they've had, because they're well coached and they have that dedication towards their teams.
Yeah, I mean, talk to me a little bit about this AAC too, because I mean, what we see, I mean, usually I think all these programs too, the Canfield, the Austintown program, I know they build into their golf programs a lot. But what is it about this Boardman team? I mean, obviously we know every area of their game is fantastic for both programs to be as successful as they are. But if there was one X factor, I mean, you could go boys and girls. What is one X factor about their game that makes them so tough to beat and so good as a collective group?
I think for me, it's the depth that they have in their lineups. They've had a core of players that have played together now 3 and 4 years, and I think as you build cohesion in a team, you want to have that team play and practice together. And it's one of the things that some of the teams that I played on did together. We would travel to tournaments over the course of summer. Joey Worsenscraft and Ryan Sam and the crew that's with Boardman have played together, whether it be junior golf, whether it be summer golf tournaments, or now high school golf for 3 or 4 years. Same way with the girls' side of the program at Boardman. You have that familiarity, and having a player on your team be able to pick you up or be able to lift you up when you've had a couple bad holes, to keep you grinding, keep you focused, and stay positive. And I think they don't, another thing that they do is they don't let big numbers scare them. Yeah, you can have a bad hole or two, but you really have to grind it out on those other 6 or 7 holes to, get the benefit and make everything that you can out of your round. And I think that's the biggest difference between them as they stand out against the other teams in their division. They've played together as this core group for a number of years. They know themselves very well. Other teams have a good balance of seniors, freshmen, sophomores, and juniors, but they all come in together. They're all going to exit together, and then a new batch starts. So it's a little bit different than what we're used to seeing. The teams that I played with in high school had 2 freshmen, 2 sophomores, 2 juniors, 2 seniors, and we did 2 at large when I was at Hubbard. So I mean, you always had that solid core that always moved on. The seniors and juniors led them, and took the freshman and sophomore under their wing. Boardman does a little bit differently. They're all coming in, as freshmen and sophomore, and they're all graduating, juniors and seniors. So, as you lose a big chunk, you're really developing your players. And I think, from a coaching perspective, that's where they are just that little bit upper echelon as it comes to winning divisions and being consistent through a 8 or 10 year period of time.